Hello, today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to get a gradient going across some text. Wouldn't have to be text, you could put it across an object as well. This would be for maybe printing a sticker with someone's name or a printable iron-on, um, printable vinyl for a decal. So I'm going to show you how you can get a gradient going across something like I've done my name here. Now, somebody on Troy's Inkscape page was wanting to make their daughter's name into a sticker to match this Happy Planner cover, which is a gradient going from blue to sort of a coral color. So I'm just going to use that as a sort of a template for the colors I pick for my gradient. So let me get rid of this, and now I'll show you how to go about doing something like that. The first thing we're going to do is just make a rectangle. So I click on the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw one. And right now, let me close everything over here. And I'm going to open the fill panel, Control Shift F, and click on fill. So I'm going to, right now it's just filling it a solid color. This is clicked. I'm going to click on gradient. Okay, now it's going to be filled with a gradient. It doesn't have any colors in it right now. When you do this, yours is probably going to be set to whatever color the last rectangle you drew is, but we can change that easily. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and click on the gradient tool, which is this two little squares connected by a line. Okay, now you see my my cursor icon has changed. That's the gradient cursor. I'm going to click on this line going across is how I change or edit my gradient. So I'm going to click on this first dot, and you can see now my fill panel is opened up to show me what color that dot is set at. This is called a gradient stop. So I'm going to set my first color to be kind of a blue. I'm going to click on the eyedropper tool and then come over here to the image and pick a blue color. Okay, that's my first gradient stop. Now what I want to do is click on this line, double click, and that adds a new gradient stop. I can do the same thing, click on the eyedropper and then click sort of this greenish color here. That added a new gradient stop. We're going to go back and edit these colors later to make them a little bit brighter, but I'm just going to go ahead and get all of the stops in first. Double click again, click on the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to pick a yellow color. Double click again, eyedropper. I'm going to pick this sort of orangey color. One more time. Eyedropper tool, and I'm going to click a pink color. And now my last color over here is white. I don't want it to be white, so I'm just going to click on that and then click on the eyedropper tool and then go back and fill it with this sort of coral color. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange these stops because they're kind of all concentrated to this side. I just want to spread them out. So I'm going to move this one. I'm just clicking on it and dragging. And then I click and drag this one, and you see how my gradient is changing. So just kind of space these out a little more evenly. And then I can go in and adjust all of these colors. If I click on this one, now it shows me what color that is over here in my fill panel. And I can just sort of slide these around to make it more of a brighter color. This one right here, it kind of picked up as a muddy green, and I'm just going to change that to a little bit of a brighter green color. This one's kind of muddy yellow, and I'm actually just going to pick a yellow from down here and then edit that a little bit to make it a little brighter. And then this one here, I'll just change that and make it a little more corally. And that one I think is pretty good. This one, I'll just make it a little more intense and a little darker. Okay, and then you can just adjust you can spend as much time as you want. I'm just kind of trying to hurry so I don't take too much time making this video. So now what I want to do, now that I got my gradient made, I'm going to type in my word that I want. So I'm going to click on the text tool and I'm going to type in fabulous. Okay, I'm going to make that bigger, so I go to the selection tool. I'm going to hold down Shift and Control so that I size this proportionally. Okay, that's not a great font, that's pretty plain. So now I'm going to click on the text tool again, and you can see I've changed to a cursor. If I do Control A for select all, that selects all of my word. Now you have to be on the text tool for that to work, because if I'm not on the text tool and I say Control A, it selects everything that's on the page. So I'm on my text, that's selected, I click on the text tool, now Control A will select the text and I can change up here the font. So I'm going to use Angelica. I just start typing it and it gives me my options. Alright, it's fabulous. Back to the selector tool, and I'm going to resize it again, holding down Control and Shift to make it proportionally bigger. I can make it even bigger. Now you can see if I zoom in, this is just a little trick for working with text, especially cursive. You can see there's a little blob right there. If I click back on the text tool, now I've got my cursor, I can go up here to this text panel and I can adjust the word spacing. So I'm going to actually space it out a little bit. The letter spacing, sorry. Go back down. If I was doing this for real, I would probably convert this to a path. I'll go ahead and actually just go ahead and do that. The text is selected, path, object to path. Alright. Control Shift G to ungroup, and then Control Shift plus to union. Now it's all together. I can go in and I can just get rid of these right here and adjust. Now you don't have to do this. I'm just kind of picky about my fonts sometimes. And then I'd probably go through and even other ones out as well. Anyway, you can take your time doing that. Okay, so now what we want to do, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy, a duplicate of this by pressing Control D. And then I'm going to select that duplicate and drag it off. We'll use that later. Alright, now we want to clip this. So I'm going to select the text and hold down Shift and select the gradient. And then I'll go to Object, Clip, Set. And there it is. Now you could import this into Design Space. What you would do is you would export as a PNG, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. You could do that as it is, and then Design Space would cut close around each of these letters. It would do, if you did a bleed, it would do a little bit of a bleed on them. Or if you want to, you can make a shadow layer, and that's why I copied this right here. So if I select this one, and do Control Shift A to open my Align panel. Now I can click on this Align Center and this Align Center horizontally, and that lines them up. I'll click on this black layer. I'm going to press Page Down to send it to the layer behind. And now I can use Offset to make a shadow layer. So Offset up in the menu would be Path, Outset, or I can do Control and the close or open parentheses, close parentheses. So I'm going to do that, Control, close parentheses, a couple of times to make a shadow layer. You could be black, you could turn it to white, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now that doesn't show up, the white doesn't show up, but it's there, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, so there is our fabulous, and now how do we get this in Design Space to print? So I'm going to select everything, which for me now is the two layers, my rainbow layer and the shadow layer behind it. And I'm going to export this as a PNG. Control Shift E to open the export panel. Alright, then I click on your settings here. You can set it how many dots per inch you want it to export as. 96 works fairly well for Design Space. This is going to affect how big it comes into Design Space, how large it is. So now I'll say export as, and this lets me tell the computer where I want it to save the file. So I choose my folder, and now down here I'm going to give it a name, Fabulous, and I'll call it 2 because I've already got a Fabulous saved. So save. That didn't actually save it. It's kind of deceiving. You actually now have to go to export, and this will actually do the saving. And you didn't see, but a little thing popped up showing that it was saved. So now I'm going to go to Design Space, and so normally I'd be on the Canvas page, but I'm already on the upload. So you would click upload, then upload image, browse, and if it's not already set to go to the correct folder, you'd have to pick the correct folder over here. And here's my Fabulous 2 PNG. Open. Now, I want to pick complex because it's got blended colors. So complex, continue. And you can see here, since it's a PNG, the background is already transparent. You don't have to go through with the magic wand and delete anything. And you can see that even though we couldn't see it on our Inkscape page, this back layer is there. It's white. So that's going to give you a white shadow behind the letters. And like I said, you don't have to do that. You could just have Design Space cut out directly around the letters, just not add that shadow layer in there. So I'll say continue. And I want it to save as a print and cut image, and just say save. Okay, so there it is. You can see here's the one I did that didn't have a shadow layer, and here's the new one that does. Insert images. Okay, so there it is. Make it a little bigger. All right. So then if you were going to make this, and you see over here it's got the little printer icon, so you know it's a print and cut file. I just say make it. And then here it is on my mat, and I would just put my printout on the mat and feed it into the Cricut, and it's going to scan this registration box, and then it's going to cut out and leave a white shadow layer behind my word. And I'm not connected to the Cricut right now, so I'm just going to say cancel. So anyway, that's how you can do a gradient fill on any sort of image or words or anything like that that you want to do. So hope somebody can use that. Thanks for watching.